Okay, so I just thought I'd shoot another collection update here in this room. I gave you last gave you a look at the full collection about this time last year, and I thought it'd be time for an update. And considering I'm soon getting a cabinet installed in this room, I thought I'd give a view of it before the cabinet's installed, and then do one after it. That will be for another couple of weeks, so I will hold out on that until it comes. But currently now, I'm just going to give you a full look down of the room as it is in its current state. And one of the main things you can see that I've done is I've actually moved the bed, because last time I gave you a look at this room, the bed was more facing this way, and it's provided me with a lot more space to film. You probably noticed this when I've been filming as well for reviews, but we're going to start up here with the collection on the main shelf unit. As you can see, nothing too much has changed, at least on the Black Series shelf. All that's really been added is more figures have joined the collection, with a few like the Bespin Han and the Solo characters. And then just with the Terminator shelf and the DC shelf, nothing really much has changed, with the exception of that at the back there, which is a Ultimate Edition DVD, I believe from about 2001. So that's all there. But yeah, one of the other major changes I've done is I've installed some of these LED push lights above. There's one there just above the Terminator shelf. It really does brighten this collection up at night time, and I've installed them on shelves below as well, and it just kind of shows more of what's on them, and that really shows it well, especially at night when I'm watching a film. It gives my room a bit of a cinema style look to it. And again, on the top shelf there, nothing too much has changed. The stand is still there, just really some characters have been added in front of it, with the Pilot Luke from the archive line being one of them, and the what some fans have dubbed the Ellen DeGeneres Luke, which is actually a good figure outside the packaging. And this is the SH Fig Arts Tamashii Nations Princess Leia. I bought that from, you'd be surprised to hear this, I bought this from a Toys R Us in Japan. I thought Toys R Us was like completely gone, but I was in Japan on holiday and I picked this one up. Sorry about the shaky camera there, but that is one of the items I do have from there. So we come down to the 3 3/4 inch shelf. Again, nothing too much has changed across these, apart from just basically figures have been added to it. One notable one being this one here. This is one of the Disney Builder droids. I had this sent to me from good pal on YouTube here, Jake Kell. He sent me this from Disneyland. So I basically put him with Mace Windu because he just fits well with him, with the purple lightsaber and the purple droid. And then just on that shelf I've already got some Clone Wars and prequel trilogy stuff there. And then again on the next shelf across it's mainly just Empire, Bounty Hunters and that, and the CIS. So there's not, again, nothing too much to change around there. And then again across here it's original trilogy and spin-offs. So you've got, like I said, you've got characters like Jin and Kira and Han, and then you've also got Luke, Leia and Chewbacca, just people like that you all know. And again above these I've installed the LED lights, so again these light up the collection pretty well. I've put these all across each section on here, so that works fine. I'll just turn that one off again. And coming down the shelf we mainly have Force Awakens and Last Jedi 3 3/4 inch figures, as well as some of these die-cast Black Series vehicles that just fit in nicely. Of course it's heavily improved with the 3 3/4 inch figures. I've been able to get more super articulated ones thanks to the Entertainer, giving out more of the good stuff, such as I managed to build up a small army of stormtroopers, as you can see quite a few on there, and then just other characters I've been able to get the super articulation for, like Finn and Poe and Rey too. And we get along now, because last year this was sort of a miscellaneous shelf, but it's kind of grown into a Disney shelf as a result of a lot of more of the toy box characters I bought, because last year I just had the Incredibles figures, whereas since I've bought a Toy Story line, because you've got Woody there on Bullseye in the background, Buzz, Jessie, and then you've got Slinky with the Alien as well, and then of course Stitch and Mickey. It's kind of just becoming a Disney collection, but I do have other figures at the back there. So still a bit of a miscellaneous one with the Blade Runner and the Halo Master Chief there, but it is heavily turning into a Disney shelf. And the final one here is Force Awakens and Last Jedi Black Series. It's changed quite a bit as some more have been added to the collection, like the Poe Dameron and Maskanata down there, but it is largely just the same as last time. So now we come down one more shelf. We have the Kotobukiya section. Again, the only one I've really added is the Poe Dameron, because I bought that from the Kotobukiya store in Akihabara. I really know what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. In Tokyo, it's one of the other. But that was a really good store. I got to have a full look around, and I picked up the Poe and BB-8 statues from there, and they're absolutely brilliant. They just really help build up on the collection there. But that's the only real addition that this shelf has had. Moving along, this shelf is largely the same as last year, except the addition of some more of these die-cast, either Hot Wheels or Black Series vehicles. And then we get along to the final shelf here, which is basically the Emperor Shuttle, just a Lego Emperor section basically. There's nothing much too cool on there. So we come down one more. This is just my first shelf of DVDs, but we have the Last Jedi Coca-Cola Zero bottles. I've still got them, still the same Coca-Cola. I've still not been opened since 2017, so that's quite fun. If you get further along to where my Xbox One games are, and of course a few Blu-rays there, nothing too much new to the collection. And then finally along to my books on this one, we have just basically the only thing I've noticed is the Casino Royale Aston Martin that I've got there. And then we come down one more. We've got what's becoming Disney Blu-rays, but there's multiple others in there. Of course, promotional cups that Cineworld have done. I think I gave a look at the Incredibles ones last year, but they've also got Toy Story 4 ones they did, and I did go and see that twice, so I picked up a cup each time. Further along we got my steelbooks. This has grown a lot more since last year, as I've had quite a few more added to the collection, and I sometimes see the appeal in getting them, but sometimes I just get them because I feel like it. And then finally along there we just have more of my film collection with the Incredibles 2 cups from last year, and just the Star Wars Blu-rays right there. But that's mainly what's on this big shelf here. There's just a lot of the same as last year, but a lot of it's going to get changed in the next couple of weeks, depending on what I choose to move into the cabinet. So now we move on to the other side of the room where we have more of the collectibles. Now, you might have noticed this shelving unit I had in the background of some of the videos I had in my last student flat. It was one of the reasons I moved the bed, so I could fit this in here, and it just gives me more of an expansion for more of my collection. So of course it's on the top. We have a load of miscellaneous stuff. It's mainly a mix between Star Wars and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, of course, with these two guys being on the top of the shelf. And of course the Crash light, which is just a simple turn on like that. And the Kylo's TIE silencer, and this is the Black Series Throne Room exclusive Kylo Ren. I got this from the Entertainer for 15 quid. I learned later on that they actually bumped the price up shortly after I got it, so I was glad I picked it up when I did. And that's just the other Kylo head that goes with it, along with the TIE silencer. And of course General Grievous, which I gave you a look back at. It's just basically more deluxe stuff to have there. And on the windowsill I basically just have the same Incredibeal that I gave you a look at last year, along with some other stuff. So we come down to the top shelf of the IKEA shelving unit, in which we have more Black Series stuff. So this is basically Bounty Hunters, along with the First Order TIE Fighter. I actually have two of these, you've probably noticed at the side of the screen there. So they're basically under there as temporary storage spot. And once again, these have LED push lights underneath. Well, they don't seem to work as well as before. And again, they help light it up when I'm looking at it overnight. Because that is a full set now of Empire Strikes Back Bounty Hunters. Because I mentioned I was hoping to complete the set, I think it was during my Zuckuss review. I didn't have Dengar, but I did manage to find one in Forbidden Planet, so that was good. And then on the other side we basically have my prequel trilogy Black Series characters. So that's kind of all growing. And again with the TIE Fighter there. Basically the reason I got two of them is I found out they were selling them in home bargains on clearance for £5 each. So I jumped the opportunity and bought two. As you see, some great prequel trilogy characters they've got so far in the Black Series, and I hope there's more to come, because there should be plenty more to come in the next coming years, months, whatever. And we get one more shelf down to the bottom. We've basically got my premium collection of films, It's actually grown quite a bit since last year because I just had 2 of them last year, but now I've got 6. And they're currently on buy one get one free at HMV, so that's alright for me. And then at the end here we have my big R2 along with books and comics. They're basic Legends books I've got there. I've got canon ones at the back because there's more of them. So I've got books like Catalyst from Rogue One, there's Thrawn back there, and plenty of others. And whereas down there I've got Heir to the Empire and Dark Force Rising. I couldn't find Last Command, unfortunately, because that's a really good book trilogy, which I've really wanted to read the whole of. So I'm glad you can still buy these though, and I've got some of them in the collection. But yeah, I'll just give you a full look back at this whole shelving unit. I'm sorry about the camera. There seems to be a bit of condensation on the camera there, but I should get rid of that for the next spot. But yeah, that's the full collection of this unit here from IKEA. So this is the TV side of the room now. As you can see, I've moved the chair out of the way because that's basically the way I do it. I normally have the chair, as you turn it that way, and of course I've got Charmander on the chair. Again, another one of those things I bought from Japan. This was from a Pokemon Center, which they do have in Japan. That was from the one by Tokyo Station, so if you're in Japan and you've ever been to that Pokemon Center, you'll know what I'm talking about. But largely along here, a lot of it's not changed too much. The only real addition here is behind the telly is the Crash Bandicoot poster. That's been added to it. But the big figs and the Talking Vader are still there, as is the cup toppers, which I use as mini busts, because I've added things like the Darth Maul and the Droideka here, and some of the Totaku characters. I do have Dr. Cortex as well, but he's currently in one of the other boxes downstairs after I've been moving stuff back here after I graduated from uni recently, but that's all there. Of course I just have my Xbox there, there's nothing different about that. Down here I have added some Bandai models that I have of Darth Vader and Captain Phasma. Again, these were other purchases from Akihabara in Japan. I figured I had to get these, and they're really good models that I put together of the characters. Like the Phasma's like very shiny and reflective, and I'm going to get these put in the cabinet along with the premium figures that you can see behind. They're all the same there. And of course we've got Crash Bandicoot holding my Xbox controller. That's the Cable Guys brand. You can get, there are Vader and Stormtrooper ones available as well, and there also is for, I believe there's a Spyro one too as well, so that's all good there. And then we get up to the bottom. This was something I got for Christmas last year. This is the Black Series Darth Vader mask, and it is honestly the highlight of my collection. It is like one of the things I'm definitely putting in the cabinet when that comes in. I'm hoping to create a Vader shrine at the bottom because of just how great this is. I just thought it would look cool with other Vader collectibles in there. Of course, if any of you did follow Jake Kell back when he uploaded videos a few years back, he had a load in his cabinet and he's got the Kylo Ren Black Series mask, so there's plenty there to show off from having this in a collection. But that is a great piece that I have, and it's currently the only place I have in my room that fits it. So it does become a bit of a nightmare when I want to watch one of these DVDs that's in there. It's not a movie I have on Blu-ray, like the Cornetto trilogy. You can see at the top of there. Like some of them are okay, like at the top, the ones at the top. Like although the Cornetto trilogy is there, it's at the top, so it's easier to reach. Whereas some of the ones like will probably not be so easy to reach, like Zoolander I've got back there, or The Proposal. Like if I tried to watch one of those, it would be a bit of a nightmare because I'd have to get Vader out to basically move it, basically get a hold of it. I'll just give you a full look again at this whole corner shelf unit. It's all it's still in the same spot, just with other things added to it. Sorry about the rain there, if you can hear all that on the camera. It's absolutely chucking it down right now. It's absolutely ruining it. But yeah, that's all there. And then of course beside it on the box, we've still had the Lego Millennium Falcon. I'm still pleased to own that in the have that in the collection. And if I had if I had any other Falcon, I'd prefer this one best, to be honest, because I just don't have the space for an Ultimate Collector's one. But I am a bit ashamed that I never got a hold of a BMF Millennium Falcon, because I really wanted one of those, and it's just a shame to not have one. Next to it here I've got the X-Wing of course still, and this is a Crash Bandicoot Bell Jar Light, that can actually that does actually light up. It runs on USB power, and then you just tap on the top and it lights up underneath. Of course, while it is daytime, it doesn't really make too much of an effect. But it's just, I think you simply tap it and it just turns off. There you go. But yeah, it looks really cool. The pose of Crash in there is brilliant. I should hope to have a Crash Bandicoot shelf set up after I've got the cabinet. Now I've decided what goes in there, and this will be on it along with the Cable Guy Crash and just the NECA ones, just all the other Crash and Spyro bits I have, and they can all go on there pretty well and will just work easily. Right, so we've got to where my bed is now first. So I'm just going to go down the bottom bit here and basically just run down what I've got. So basically that is just a box full of comic books, because I started collecting them a lot more again in the year. I got back into the habit of them, and basically that's a good storage spot for them. And then on top of that, you can see this. So this is basically a Han Solo blaster, the Rubies one that I bought off Amazon, and then I bought a load of Citadel paint from Warhammer and some spray paint, and basically turned it into a prop replica. This did take quite a while, but if you did see my, if you do follow me on Instagram, you might have seen an Instagram post of me cosplaying Han Solo. So that was kind of one of the reasons I did this, and it is honestly one of the best items that I own in my collection now. Just under the bed is the only real place I've got for it. Unfortunately, the blaster doesn't make noises anymore, but it still looks really good to have as a piece in the collection. And then just beside that, we've got what looks like what I can see is a Wonder Woman popcorn tin. I've got another one behind which is Suicide Squad, and that's basically just a storage for loose figures that I have, and it just comes in handy having them there, just a place to store everything I have in this small room, so that all works fine there. Then of course on the bed we have my Porg, who's just sitting there chilling, and on the other side we have my cushions and my Kylo Ren and Phasma 1, along with the classic Star Wars poster on there. And something I did show last year is that I do hang a lot of my ships from the ceiling now. So we still have the Solo Falcon, which hangs over there. That isn't a more suspendable spot where it can actually hit me on the head, because it has actually fallen down once overnight and it did land right beside my head. So that could have very well hurt me in my sleep, but luckily it didn't. And beside it is the Slave 1. This one's still held up over the years. And of course I have the smaller TIE Fighter and TIE Silencer. And then I forgot to point these out because on the other side of the room I have added Anakin and Obi-Wan Starfighters to there. I bought the Obi-Wan Starfighter from Forbidden Planet in Aberdeen, and I got the Anakin one off eBay for about 20 quid, so that was okay. And on the other side I do have Tally's A-Wing hanging from the top there, so that's really cool to have. Just hanging there. I might try and get one of the TIE Fighters behind it so it looks as though she's being chased, because that might look good for it. And quite funny story is I do actually have, it's quite hard to see it from here, but Obi-Wan's is actually slightly higher than Anakin's. That was something I did do deliberately before anyone asks in the comments. Yeah, so Obi-Wan does have the higher air, should I say, rather than the high ground, because there's no actual ground there, but yeah, it does have the higher space of air when it comes to that. We do move back around to the side of the bed, because I do still have the carded collection, which is mainly around the Terminator 2 poster that I have. There has been quite a big addition to the carded collection, as you can see, and unfortunately because I moved the bed, some of it is actually hidden below the bed, but I do have a carded collection of Last Jedi figures, because there's Rey, Finn and Rose that I have at the bottom there, and then coming up you just have other characters. And the reason I've got these all in the carded collection is because the Entertainer were actually selling these cheap at like £3, so I basically jumped at the chance so I could buy some cheap figgies that I could just keep carded. So it's quite a collection of Last Jedi ones there, and as you can see the vintage collection Boba Fett, this is the new one. So it's not the same one that was released in the earlier vintage collection lines, this is the newer released one, and I am hoping to give a review of the other one because I've got two of these now, one opened, one boxed, so that'll be safely there. And the other additions to the Mint in Box collection is Darth Revan that I did add there, and Admiral Piet. I just decided I wanted one of them both Mint in Box. but the rest of the carded collection is all the same as it was last time. There's nothing too much to add there, as well as the other ones which are also hidden down the bottom of the bed there. I just don't have any other space to put them right now, but I'll identify them for you, because basically the first one there, that's a TIE Fighter Pilot Elite. Then we've got Jyn Erso, and then we've got battle damaged Anakin and Count Dooku, and at the bottom there is a Weequay Skiff Guard from the Power of the Force, and the rest of these were just Power of the Force figures, and Kylo and Poe, and then the other ones you can just see for yourself, along with the Golden Crash. And then finally along here we've got some other posters. These were other additions to the collection, so it's Blade Runner 2049, a great poster to have. And the next one here is a film called Repo Man. Most of you may not know about this film. It's a cult film from 1984. It stars Emilio Estevez, who you'll probably know out of The Breakfast Club, and Harry Dean Stanton, you probably know out of The Green Mile. And basically, I can't really show you the tagline or anything like that because it's all reflected off the sun. But I would leave a link to the IMDb page in the description if you want to see what this film is about, because it is an absolutely brilliant film, and I think it's worth it anyone to check out if you haven't seen it already, because it is really good. So that is basically the whole collection of the room now. As of course the cabinet will be installed at some point over the coming weeks, and then once that's been installed and filled, I will basically give another update when it's done, so you can see it all and see what's in it, because I would love to share what I end up putting in there, and then how the collection can be basically updated on all the other shelving units in the room. But it is a big collection I've got. It is heavily grown over the past couple of years, especially since I've been at uni. But yeah, that is everything I own that I have out on display. I shall hope to add more to it as the weeks go by, but I hope you enjoyed looking at my collection. I'll just keep the focus upon the top shelves here, the Black Series and that. Do drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and do follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All links are down there in the description below. And do subscribe for more content again, as I said there. But I shall see you for my next review, whenever that may be. Thank you very much, guys.